So Adrian, just wait for everybody to quieten down for you, and then you can begin.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Adrian. I'm a Year 2 student in Applied Chemistry. First of all, let me ask you a few questions. Have you ever left some unused food in the canteen? Have you thought about where those food waste represent? Have you ever imagined those food waste can be converted into energy? This is my research topic, potential of food residue for energy production. And today's presentation will be divided into 3 parts. First, introduction, and then literature review, and finally, my own research project. I choose this topic basically come from a few concerns. The first concern is that fossil fuel will soon be depleted. Fossil fuel is a kind of unrenewable energy. It is limited, and it can be finished. So we have to reduce energy consumption in order to slow down depletion of fossil fuel. And we should also move to an alternative energy supplies. And that means we should use renewable energy, such as solar and biomass. And the second concern is that the release of toxic compounds. The release of toxic compounds basically based on the combustion of fossil fuel. And the combustion of fossil fuel would emit NOx and sulfur. And those pollutants can cause globally health and environmental problems. And the most common example is acid rain. And the third one is global warming, and it is the greatest concern. Global warming is due to the increasing carbon dioxide concentration and upper atmospheric pollutants. However, using renewable food waste as energy resource can decrease the atmospheric CO2 levels, because methane is a kind of ideal fuel which is clean and generates less CO2 per unit energy. Based on the 3 concerns, I chose this topic, and it is highly related to us. Let's move on to the next part, literature review. The first article I've read is a hybrid 2-phase system for anaerobic digestion of food waste. The aim of this paper is to investigate a hybrid 2-phase anaerobic process for food waste. And in this study, the author used 2 sets of time to compare the efficiency of the system. And the main weakness is that there are no explanation on how the experiment can give high yield of methane. And the other article I've read is food waste as a co-substrate in fat brash anaerobic waste digester for constant biogas supply. The aim of this paper is to maximize and equilibrate biogas production. In this study, the author found out that anaerobic treatment of biowaste during nighttime and weekends maximize the biogas production. And the weakness of this paper is that no suggested method to produce high yield of methane. And the third article I've read is about the novel anaerobic process for the recovery of methane and compost from food waste. The objective of this paper is to assess the performance of this novel high-rate anaerobic process for treating food waste. In this study, it states that the process showed simple operation and high efficiency. And the weakness of this paper is the same as the first article I've read. No explanation on how the experiments give high yield of methane. And the third article is I've read in the common weaknesses is that there are lack of information on the yield of methane and how to produce high yield of methane. So, in my research project, I will mainly focus on the yield of methane. I will combine their methods. For example, I will use the hybrid two-phase system plus more reactors, and I will feed the reactor in cycles. That means I will feed the first reactor on the first day, and the second reactor on the second day, all the way to the last reactor, and then back to the first reactor. Finally, I will compare the results to the original hybrid two-phase system, which has only two reactors. And here is some explanation of my method. According to the article 2 I've read, during nighttime and weekends, the production of methane maximized because food waste has to be stabilized, and therefore I use more reactor and a cycle feeding time to give more time for the food waste to be stabilized in order to give higher yield. Here are some references, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.